This is the 8th of October. Media Center Ukraine is working. My name is Svetlana Chaporenko, and today we will be speaking about the groups of self-help as a tool for rehabilitation and integration, in particular about the experience of Ukraine in this issue. Let me introduce our today's speakers, Lidia Martynova, founder and chair of the board of the public organization Psychability. Kostiantyn Zelenov, psychiatrist of the highest qualification at the Center for Emergency Medical Care and Disaster Medicine in Kyiv, member of the board of the public organization Psychability. Iryna, Zhuk, leader of the self-help group at Psychability, and Andrii Kovalov, head of the Reform of Social Services in Ukraine project, expert partner at Civitta, Ukraine, on healthcare and social policy. Hello. Kostiantyn, I would like to ask you first of all to tell us what self-help group is, why we need such groups, and does this tool exist in the world? If it does, how it is working? Good day. So, the topic of my short speech is, in fact, self-help groups as a tool for rehabilitation and integration. And in order to better understand the essence of self-help groups, let us start with the following: what we are facing now. Mental disorders, besides the issues which can bear certain symptoms of these disorders, can have social consequences. In particular, those are social disintegration. Those are the losses of social skills or their decrease. That is also the loss of trust to the surrounding, isolation, loneliness, the decrease of self-estimate and self-respect, and some of the really edgy symptoms like despair, aggression, or even suicide attempts. So those are the possible consequences of mental disorders. If we now speak about rehabilitation and integration, the translation from Latin is a bit free one. Rehabilitation is the recovery of skills, and integration is the recovery of your wholesomeness or integrity. When we need to help people to recover their skills and recover the integrity of the community, the society, and the persons, in fact, who have mental disorders, so that it again could become one and a whole, so that the people could enter the socium as well again. So now what self-help groups are. Self-help groups for the people with mental disorders is the form of informal mutual support. I'd like to emphasize on that. Informal mutual support. And it can be even a kind of a mission of these groups, so that the people in the informal conditions could help each other, as they say now, peer-to-peer. To help where? Well, for instance, to support each other, to recover any skills, to share experience, and obviously to strengthen this feeling that you control your own life, because very often it is lost during the mental disorders, or at least it is decreased. There can be a feeling that not I am the one who manages my own life, but my fate or anything else is managing me, or maybe my sickness, so you lose your management process. The task of these groups to bring you back the feeling that I am the owner of my own life. Now, in a nutshell, about the principles. They are numerous, so I selected, according to my opinion, the most important ones. That is voluntary access. These groups wouldn't be forced, and you shouldn't force anyone. That is self-organization, that is participation of the experts from mental health, doctors, psychologists, nurses, social workers. That is minimal and the best possible option when it is not there at all, when the clients and customers are organizing themselves on their own. So they implement their ideas in these groups. Equality. In these groups, everybody is equal because those are human beings, because those people have experience of mental disorders, and no one can have any superficial or even arrogant attitude as it is done in the open society where we have lots of stigmatization still. And some people can think that people with mental disorders are different. It cannot be in such groups. That is the focus for the recovery, not the treatment. Here we speak about more of recovery and expansion of the life's horizons. It's not about medicine, not about psychotherapy, but mostly how you can create your life better and more interesting. And, according to my opinion, one more important point and principle is informal approach and flexibility. There is no appointed leader, either appointed or elected one and forever, who would be the leader, the manager. Any participant of the group can reflect and show initiative, offer anything, and the objectives of the group for self-help could be also totally different. These could be just communication, just having tea together. This could be mastering some skills. This could be some creativity. This could be any social actions, as well as destigmatization, which were conducted in our unit before. Those groups were attached to our unit before. So such groups do not have the predefined and sustainable objective. Everything can be changed according to the needs of the clients, and according to my opinion, it is very important. What could be the use? If we speak informally, from the human point of view, it is the opportunity to be heard, the opportunity to reflect and to express yourself without any judgment, the opportunity to help and take care about each other, and to get this care. This is informal and sincere. And this is the opportunity to be in a safe environment, because as I said, everybody is equal in such groups. People are feeling really equal. If we speak about the outcomes, the results of activity of such groups are overcoming or decrease of pressure of those complications I listed in the beginning. That is the recovery of social skills, that is the recovery of trust to the surrounding, that is the recovery of your self-esteem and self-respect, and, as maybe the most desired outcome, is reintegration into the family, into the closest communication circle, and the social life as it is at large. Making a bit of a remark here, if a person has an opportunity to express initiative and to implement this initiative, to feel not only as a user of services, if this is the person who is coming to some institution as a user, but also can be a leader and organizer, then, according to my opinion, it is very important for the recovery of self-esteem. Thank you so much, Kostiantyn. Experience for the creation of such self-help groups has been used by the public organization Psychability. So, Lidia, could you please tell us about the group which is based according to your organization, on the basis of it? And maybe you have some peculiar within the Ukrainian experience. Please, you need a mic. The public organization Psychability is working since 2019, and so that people with mental disorders and their families could have better quality of life. Our organization emerged in the medico-social rehabilitation center of the Psychiatrist clinic in 2019. So today, the organization is providing diverse rehabilitation services, among which we can see on the slide there is a self-help group for the people with mental disorders. The group of self-help has emerged in the therapeutic environment for the Center of Medical Social Rehabilitation in 2017. The clients of the center who went through the training of rehabilitation modules of this center have become the foundation for this group. And gradually, they had the opportunity to organize their own events where they invited their relatives and experts of the center. And also, the members of this self-help group, as you can see, have taken part in the art project The Wall and Theater Let Us Be, which was working in the clinic psychiatry. So many members of our group took part in the festivals, artistic festivals. And also the creative artists organized a workshop on the manual decoration of shopper bags, and they gave their works as a gift to the participants of the round table, which was conducted by our organization within the international project advocacy campaign for the creation of services, the helper for the person with a mental disorder. I would like to add here that today, the self-help group is based upon our organization, and it consists of the people who have gone through the program of the case, and also the people with mental disorders who are just beginning their way on recovery. The central role for the successful activity for the self-help group, which is now working in our organization, is the service a helper for the person with a mental disorder, the prototype of which has become the rehabilitation program, the case management. The objective of this service, identification of the client's needs, the development of the strengths for the person's personality. I would also like to add that thanks to the programs of the Center of Medical Social Rehabilitation during the 22 years, the experts have done something incredible. They saved more than 1,000 of persons' lives, people with mental disorders, and they changed their lives for the better. Among those people, there are also, we can have my relative, who, in spite of the diagnosis and forecasts of the doctors, has fully recovered and is now working as an operator of the Ukrainian Post Office. I would also like to add that our experts have gone through the training abroad, mental rehabilitation in Lithuania, Czech Republic, Bulgaria. All of this expertise has been used now for the recovery of the mental state of our clients. And also they have implemented into life the biopsychosocial support to rehabilitation. I would like to add that the latest statistical data for the activity of the self-help group shows that 25% of the persons who went through it have recovered their lives, social lives, and have become financially independent. And some of them who took part in the self-help group even were able to do something surreal. They prevented suicide attempts and decreased the stay at the hospital. Thanks to the active cooperation of the people with mental disorders, their families, and experts on mental health of our organization, we totally made the relations in our families in harmony and developed them, making their partnerships. And how it was, Iryna will tell you. Iryna, thank you, Lidia. Iryna, you are one of the leaders of the self-help group. Can you tell more how they're working and who the participants are? So in a nutshell about myself first, I have a mental disorder since 2012. I am in stable remission for 5 years already. Getting through psychoneurological in clinic. The first question was to be sent to the Center of Medical Social Rehabilitation, where I went through different programs and modules, and also the program of case management. My case manager was Olena Korektna, the nurse, and also there were different modules there. I went through the module for the preparation for your independent life, and according to these modules, together with my case manager, we were working on ourselves, on me, I would say. So thus, it has become possible that I was able to organize some groups. It was interesting for me. We self-organized, and in 2017, we had a kind of a group, the first group on our own, without the participation of experts. That is the literature musical meetings, which were conducted once per month. And when we selected the topics, we conducted a poll, what people are interested in from the group. A kind of light self-help, as it used to be. It turned out to be that the majority of the participants were lacking communication. Then we created a club, Let Us Communicate, which was conducted once per week. We combined more or less 20 people there. That was an acute need of the people to be heard and to speak out more and to listen to others. Hence, the groups were developing, they transformed, and in 2022, the Center for Medical Social Rehabilitation has been transformed into the public organization Psychability. So since October 2022, we gathered in Psychability, in the groups of self-help. The group is actively cooperating with the public organization Psychability. We are taking part in the forums, conferences, and roundtables. And also, the people with mental disorders who were in the critical situation are getting help from this group of self-help. And also, we are conducting psychoeducation as of today. We've conducted lots of groups on psychoeducation. Some of them were self-organized, selecting some topic. For instance, the topic which we used to have was about the depressive state. For multiple times, we raised it again and again for ourselves. This is the well-used topic for us. This is just an example which psychoeducation events we organized. And also as for culture and pastime, we're actively taking part in different events. Like at the basis of the public organization, we had the Health Day with the School of Healthy Way of Life. We also took part in Courage Bazaar. We showed initiative, found the contacts, and represented the public organization at this bazaar. We also created symbolic bracelets. We are actively taking part in different events, and those are excursions. The latest one was at the Zamkova mountain just recently, just last week. We also self-organized. Here we have one of the participants in the room who found the contacts, and together with a guide, we had this excursion. So the group is actively developing and taking part in different events. What else would I like to add? That this kind of activity for the self-help group has become possible only with the help of the basis which we've had gained in the Center of Medical Social Rehabilitation with the help of the experts. So only thanks to this foundation we could self-organize. And also, the case managers were fruitfully working on that as well, so that such group could exist, and gave us the push to create them on our own. So we would ask the Kyiv authorities to support the initiative of the public organization on the creation of such a service, like the assistant for the person with mental disorder, the helper. This is the foundation, the basis for such groups, for self-development further on. Thank you. Iryna, what does the participation in such groups give personally to you? You represent the participants. Why is it important for such participants not only to have these groups, but to exist at a permanent basis? I consider it's lively necessary and significant because you're in the same environment with the same issues, and people understand you better. You can open up to such person and not to be afraid. Those are not experts who are giving you some recommendations. We can say those are friends who give you pieces of advice. So you are listening to them and you're perceiving it better. Thank you so much, Iryna. Andrii, according to your opinion, what needs to be done so that these groups went on existing? And the above-mentioned service for the helper of the person with a mental disorder, how can it help these groups to work even more efficiently? These groups, which were just told about by my colleagues, are actively working in many world countries, in all of the European countries, in Kyiv and other cities of Ukraine. As we can see, they are just being launched, created, but they are not enough. If we take Kyiv city, with a population of approximately 3 million people, there are estimates that every 10th person has a certain mental disorder of different form and stage, 300,000 people. And speaking about severe disorders, substantial ones, estimates can differ, but it's approximately 30 to 50,000 people in Kyiv only with rather severe mental disorders. Iryna has shown the example of the group, which is visited by 20 people. So if we have 10 groups like this in Kyiv, that is 200 of people. That is really not enough, not sufficient. So that we could upscale this experience, it is necessary to involve resources, human and financial ones, because there is a burnout. People begin to create a group, they are involved, but then half a year and a half pass, and a certain burnout starts. The experience of all of the countries shows that this infrastructure needs support, including financial one, at the expense of the national and local budget. And we, as an analytical team, we conducted analysis, which you can see on this slide. There are lots of researches of the international level about the efficiency of such groups, such services in Ukraine. These researchers do not exist, unfortunately, so maybe one of the first researches should be done by us, because it is so important to have data which supports efficiency. But if we look at other countries, the efficacy of the self-help groups have at least 5 different spheres which are improved. First of all is the decrease of the symptoms. People begin to feel better, people with mental disorders. So there is a decrease of hospitalization cases. That's so important, and it was already mentioned by Kostiantyn a bit. In other countries, you can see that specifically. So they have an important indicator that there was the saving of $500 in Canada. We will have less because we have cheaper healthcare, but still there will be certain savings because there are less hospitalization cases and fewer symptoms of mental disorders. The improvement of social skills, which is also important. There are lots of researchers which show that for the year of a group, it may not happen instantly in a couple of weeks. But if you visit the group systematically, 15 to 20% of people with disorders can start better function socially. They are becoming more independent. And Kostiantyn has mentioned, as well as Lidia did, that 25% in Kyiv even of people have become more independent, including financial independence. That is so important. The international data show approximately the same. 30 to 40% of people who are regularly attending to such groups can become financially independent. That is so important because we have lower percentage of the people with disabilities in Ukraine who are employed. This percentage has to increase here, definitely. Fourth point, the increase of the feeling that you impact your own life. There are specific researches. This feeling is improved for 18 to 28%, and the person is feeling more agency. And the last point, which is maybe even the most important among all of them, that is improvement of your sustainability of the person and the quality of life. So there are rather detailed researches about this topic. Every second person attending such groups can really show and see that the quality of life has improved. Those are very specific and measurable outcomes which have been researched in other countries, according to which what my team is doing, we are providing economic models which show, formally speaking, for each invested hryvnia, we are saving some money because we have fewer cases of hospitalization and even generate more for the economy because some of the people are being employed. For each invested hryvnia, we are getting definitely more than 1 hryvnia, maybe 1.5 hryvnia of additional effect, which will not emerge instantly, but definitely will. So according to these economic models, which I'm telling you about, it is necessary to come with them to the local authorities in Kyiv city, that is Kyiv City State Administration, and the national level, the Ministry of Healthcare, Ministry of Social Policy, even Ministry of Economy, because there we have the economic effect as well, and lobby additional funding for the support of such groups so that they could take place and upscale. They should be much more numerous, which I mentioned in the beginning. Thank you, Andrii. Are there any questions among the guests in the room? You need a mic for that. Just a moment. You need a mic. For many years, I'm dealing with the human rights activism. So my question is the following. Look, the outcomes of the treatment, the outcomes of rehabilitation, of the whole activity is the independent life living. Independent living is a philosophical notion, obviously, but when you live on your own, you need to be independent as much as possible. And the person can be independent only when he or she has resources and services. I am acknowledging that the independent living of the person with mental disorders is definitely needing support. And definitely we need to maintain and accompany person with mental disorders. I have the question to Kostiantyn. It seems to me you mentioned that. How much of the developments exist in Psychability about this service of support for the person with a mental disorder? Thank you. As for the developments, we have them since 2000. And as it was already mentioned today, one of the main programs for us when the rehabilitation center used to work was the program for the case management. The world has this name of case management and uses it. So what we are now promoting and lobbying for, we would like to create a service, an individual assistant for the person with mental disorder. We have certain developments. We need money for that, as always, and a political will. Because so far, our will is not enough. So that's it. Thank you. There was one more question in the second row. Good day. My name is Yulia. I have a bipolar disorder, and I would like to get to know more how, in fact, people can get to know about you, how we can get to such group, how they are being formed, according to which principle. Are those the groups for the people with the same disorder, or how do they gather, online, offline, by territorial principle? How do you achieve outcome? According to the experience of the in-clinic patients, when you are among the people with different diseases, there can be tolerance and understanding and comfort. But still, in the hospital, there are doctors, the people who are the leaders, as you say. But you say that those groups won't have any leaders. That is for self-governance, I would say. So won't these people be lost in their diseases because it is already socially difficult for them? According to your experience, how does the initiative show there, how it is being developed? And the second question, are these projects of the assistant for the person with mental disorder connected with social groups, or is it separate? Will it be for free, or which money will be used? Does your project get funding, like excursions of the groups? Is it done for the money for the people with disorders, or for... those are very practical questions. Yes, many questions, but I will try to answer quickly. The first question was where to get to know about us. We have the website of the public organization Psychability. We have the Facebook page of the public organization Psychability, as well as the Instagram page. Social networks can be the source of information. And also we have the group of Viber of self-organized people who do not have experts. You can come up personally to me if you are interested in something specific. We are gathering by the foundation of the public organization of Psychability, and this information can be found in the social networks. As of now, we do not invest into such meetings. Well, at least the investments are minimal. They are for free. But we need support, and this is the question which is being solved as of now. I really loved the question that these groups, how did you say, self-organized? Yes, self-organized. Won't they lose their way? Well, according to our experience, we went a long way to come to these groups, and every person who is coming wants to come to the group is getting through the consultation of a psychologist who recommends or does not recommend to get to this group. Yes, from the public organization, Psychability, it is for free as of now. And every person who gets there is already having the understanding what and why he or she wants from this group. Let me also add that we are being supported by the entrepreneurs of Kyiv city, who has the public organization with the name of Ukrainian Strategy of Zelensky. He allocates money for us every year for our activity. Thanks to that, we support our self-help group. Thank you. Next question, please. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. I have the question about the group, self-organized group as well. Who is leading in the group? Who is becoming kind of a leader and goes on having this group? And if I may, I have more questions. The question whether you have any partners, organizations, or companies, enterprises, which are helping to employ, to find jobs for the people coming from this group. and maybe it would be inappropriate. If it is inappropriate, I do apologize for that. What kind of people can you work with? Formally, what's the restriction? If the person is on the medical care or not? Thank you. Could you remind the first question, please? Oh, about the leaders. Okay, I do apologize. Kostiantyn already presented that we do not have any specific leaders. We make a deal with each other. As in any organization, someone is more initiative, and it's okay. So we do not have any specific leader. We are making a deal. We self-organize, and then we define the leader for some topic who would like to make more arrangements. The next question was about employment. Kostiantyn or Lidia? So about employment. As of now, we do not have such programs which would be shown for the preparement for employment. They are not working. They are now suspended. But we have a partner. That is the bakery. Maybe you've heard about it. Good People. It's named Good Bread. So we are cooperating for about several years, since 2017. Some of the key positions in this bakery are taken by our ex-clients. And as of now, if it coincides that someone comes to the public organization, whether he or she is visiting the self-group or does not, if the need of the bakery coincides and we can see that this client, at least theoretically, can work there, then we send him or her to Vladislav. Andrii? Yes, I would also like to add to the topic of employment. That is a very important topic. Definitely there should be the help for the person. First of all, the search of the job place, which is very complicated, and also a kind of support. Well, from 3 to 6 months. 12 months are a bit too much, I guess. 6 months is okay. So now we're speaking about the support for the person with disability, to be more specific with mental disorders. And we are talking about that with the Ministry of Social Policy and Ministry of Economy, which I listed above. The organization of the League of the Strong, which you heard about, I guess. They are rather active developing this sphere and lobbying it. So if you're interested in that, they are just now developing the new law draft. So I would recommend to get to them to be involved in Kyiv. They are in a very big city, Kyiv, so one good bread is not enough. It is really not enough. So they are trying to find, like Ukrainian Post Office, Nova Poshta, Aurora. Bigger employers are trying to cooperate. You need to get in touch with them to provide placement for the person and support after the placement. It is taking place now. Thank you. The third question was what type of persons you can work with. First, you said that the psychologist is first working before sending the person to the self-help group, right? What's the restriction? Well, what could be the restriction? The person has to be capable to come, to be capable to communicate. Taking or not taking medicine is not a matter of principle, because we have experience when the people, after a certain period of time, stopped taking medicines and felt stable. And in fact, consultations of a psychologist can also be helping for the person who is getting to us, because there can be identified needs when the person wants to come, but during the consultation it turns out that the person wants to improve relations with his or her mom. And then we say, well, it would be better for you to have a series of consultations to improve your relations, for instance. Thank you, Kostiantyn. Are there any other questions, please? Could you please tell, do you have experience for the self-help groups online? And according to the opinion of the participants and an expert, is it efficient online or is it more efficient to have them offline? Thank you. Well, the peculiarity online, we were trying to create it because many people left abroad at the beginning of the full-scale invasion. So we were trying to add users online, but it was a failure. I will tell you why. Because you do not see the person personally, you do not feel the person, and it is not that efficient. It is possible, but in my opinion, it is inefficient. Thank you. Let me also add a bit. Our experience is the following. During COVID times, during hard times, we have always tried to support offline formats as much as it was possible, because really, first, the level of the contact in comparison between online and offline can be different several times. And when people can see each other live, it's a totally different level of mental and spiritual exchange. Thank you. 1 or 2 questions left, please. Can I ask Kostiantyn, please, is it possible to create self-help groups without therapeutic environment? Well, look, I cannot say it is impossible. Maybe, of course, people can find interest groups knowing their issues. They can find each other, but according to my opinion, when there is some common basis what to visit, some basic rehabilitation programs or institutions or centers or anything, there can be some common understanding of life in the broader sense of this word, problematics and how to find the way out. So it seems to me when there is some, how can I say, a kind of a center for therapeutic environment, according to my opinion, these groups can emerge in a more natural way. People can see each other, they have certain common interests, and they can easier get in touch with each other and move on. Thank you. Are there any other questions left? Then I think, Lidia, you would like to add anything? Sure. I would like to finalize our briefing with the message to the relatives or legal representatives of the persons with mental disorder. We cannot do that without your help. Your relatives would never overcome the disease without your support. So please, do not surrender. Come to us. Our doors are open for you. If we're able, we can help you or send you where you will get support in your fight. Thank you so much, Lidia. And again, I wish you, so that the local authorities and the authorities of the country could hear you and adopt the necessary documents which are important for the promotion of the services you offer. They are incredibly important as well. And moreover, unfortunately, the number of people with mental disorders during the full-scale invasion is increasing. Let me remind you, we were speaking about self-help groups as a tool for rehabilitation and integration. And in 15 minutes, we'll have the presentation of the media project War Crimes in Crimea. Stay with us.